As Joe mentioned, well, we've been in business for years. We've been in business for years working exclusively with veterinary practices. This is what we do. This is what we know.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us at the Veterinary Insider Podcast, the podcast where we explore innovation, stories, and strategies to help with forward thinking in the veterinary industry, specifically focused on independent veterinarians and their challenges and struggles through business startup. And so today I have a special guest, I should say. Joe and William. They're both with IT Guru, and we are going to be speaking about the importance of having a strategy when it comes to your IT systems and how they should be working. How do you assess those strategies, and then finding the resources necessary to build exactly what you need as far as your clinic is concerned. So welcome, you guys. Thank you so much for being on.
Hey, thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having us. This is going to be a blast.
Yeah, I hope so. So, first of all, I would love to hear, our audience would love to hear how you guys met, how you guys, came up with the idea of IT Guru, kind of present state, and kind of what you guys are looking at for the future.
Sure, I can take that one, Will. So basically, this business started, it's coming up on 20 years. So 20 years this fall. I was working for American Medical Response prior to this. I ran all their ambulance dispatch systems across the United States. And it was a large corporate kind of setting, and decided, hey, if it doesn't work this hard, I'll go work for myself. And so started IT Guru and just focus on small biz to kind of start with out of Denver metro area. However, I remember this distinctly the day that we decided to go the vertical of veterinary clinics and hospitals. It was my daughter's 13th birthday. And I came home from a clinic in Parker, Colorado, pretty excited, all kinds of, technology being used. I was able to help them, really pull it all together. She knew I was kind of searching for a niche, and she just kind of looked at me and said, why don't you focus on that? And that's where the journey began, and that's where we're at today, almost 20 years later.
Awesome. So, how did you bring on William? Or how did that happen?
Sure. Yeah. So we are involved, obviously, with the veterinary industry, and William came on. We were introduced through an organization that we belong to. Got to know and understand William, and brought him into the fold. He was one of these. We have a hiring strategy at IT Guru. We go for I'll keep it nice. We go for a heck yes, but we call it a double hockey stick. But we go for that. But a yes is a maybe, and a no is actually a no. But Will was definitely a heck yeah, and brought him on to kind of run operations for us.
Yeah, I came in from the veterinary marketing side of things. So I've been in the space for, 15 years now, working operations and marketing before moving to IT Guru and doing operations here. It's great working with Joe. It's great working with this team. It's nice when you find like the right people that align with exactly who you want to be and what you want to do within this space.
Yeah, that's really great. A lot of us, founders, sometimes we struggle with, should we have a co-founder? How do we find the perfect, partner in our businesses? Can you give us a little bit of advice on how you did that?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, when you're starting up a business like this, I started solo, right? So you can only take it so far, right? And so you have to, build a team and a cohesive team that believes in the same, vision and mission that you have in as an organization, right? So we're all on I guess, the same bus, right? Kind of marching forward here. So, when we're looking at this organization and it is a true, we have an ownership mentality throughout the business, right? So everybody is kind of has ownership in this business to, drive our mission forward.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. So why is it important we as veterinary practice owners have you guys?
I think that one of the things that people do very frequently in the IT space is underestimate the amount of technology that actually exists in veterinary hospitals. We think oh, well, it's just dogs and cats. But it's not just dogs and cats. It's workstations, it's workflow, it's network, it's laboratory equipment, it's the blood work, it's uploading images to DICOM. All of these different things are part of almost every single appointment that we see. And people don't always get that. And it's important to understand sort of the specialization of the type of people you're working with. I go to my veterinarian because I know that they know how to treat my type of pet. And when I bring my dogs in, I know that they're experienced with dog care, with cat care, with exotic care, with small pocket pet care. These veterinarians know how to treat my type of pet. Likewise, as a veterinary practice, you need an IT firm that knows how to treat the illnesses that are happening within your network and within your workstations. There's a lot of these things that happen. Um, Printer setups, every business has printers, but label printers are very important to the lifeblood of a veterinary practice. You're running prescriptions day in, day out. And when those things go down, it cripples your ability to do work. Lab equipment, drug control cabinets. We've seen that happen where someone gets a new device, a new box, new something that comes in. They go to a trade show, they're sold on something, they're excited about this new thing, but they don't know how it works with their IT infrastructure. And their IT team has never encountered a drug control device before. And now they have to spend a lot of additional time just figuring it out, just figuring out how does this thing work? How does this work? We know that already. When you call us up and say, hey, we've got a new Cubex machine, great. Give us the cut sheet. Let's get going. Um, we also understand the human animal bond side of things. So there's the technology side of things, which is important. But there's certain things that we know how to respond to quickly. If a client calls into me and says, hey, I've got a workstation down, I know what that means. When they call in and say, I've got a workstation down and I have a dog that is currently under anesthesia right now, I know that the criticality of that issue has just escalated. So I need to jump on that right away. And then I also know if I'm on site, if they have a room where they're currently having a grieving patient after euthanasia or something like that, I know not to barge into that room. I know how to work with the practice manager and say, hey, it looks like this room is sensitive right now. Please let us know when an appropriate time to come back in this. I can work on exam 4 instead while exam 1 is currently being used with this patient. It's all about understanding both the relationships that happen there, the technology, and being able to apply our expertise to each of those elements.
Yeah. It sounds like you highlighted the importance of having an IT system and people working with them that are also familiar with the veterinary industry. And can you talk a little bit about that and what sets you guys apart?
Absolutely. So, as Joe mentioned, while we've been in business for years, we've been in business for years working exclusively with veterinary practices. This is what we do. This is what we know. We go to the trade shows. We're part of the different veterinary organizations, including Vet Partners, is one that we are both members of, working with different consultants across the country. Of course, with IVPA, we're very excited to work with independent practices and the organizations that support them. We understand things that are happening and we understand the changes that are occurring. We're part of this, whenever you're at a trade show, there's always the scuttlebutt that happens. Guess who just purchased who? Guess who just got acquired? Guess who just got sold? From a business perspective, from a corporate perspective, from a individual practice perspective, we all have those conversations. We're part of those as well. So we can start having those conversations up front. Well, what does this mean to the software providers we're working with the hardware providers that we're working with the practices that we work with? Do we need to change anything in our workflow now? Do we need to start making recommendations to some of our clients because we know X software is going to be obsolete? We saw that recently, and I won't name the name of it, but a recent software company did sort of do an announcement of, hey, we're going to be shuttering our doors, and hey, now we're not. Kind of those two announcements happened sort of back to back. And during that time, we were able to work with clients who were thinking like, well, should I switch? Should I not? What should I do? To help guide them the right direction. Someone that is not in tune with the veterinary industry would not know how to have that conversation. They would have to let the client do the driving. And in our case, while we want the client to be able to manage their business, to run their business, to make those sound business decisions, we also want to be side by side with them. If their hand is on the steering wheel, we want our hand on that steering wheel as well, at least helping to navigate and guide them towards the proper solutions.
Yeah, good point. Thank you for sharing that. From my standpoint and from a lot of our audience's standpoints as independent veterinarians who are owning and running our practices, how so we view these things as expenses for us, right? It costs us money to bring an IT team on and help us out. How do we shift our mindset of viewing that as an expense versus an actual asset?
Yeah, that's a good question, and one we struggle with. To be honest with you, quite a bit when we come across independent practices. It's transforming. IT's transforming more from a cost center to a profit center. I mean, it is what's driving the business, right? Just like you have an infrastructure, a physical building, right? There are physical infrastructure that has to be maintained and operational in order for that clinic to function. So it's become really the heartbeat of the clinic. Without the technology, things come to a screeching halt, and from a workflow and efficiency and effectiveness. So capital outlay is going to happen, right? So it's the right capital outlay, the right investments, right? The right investments, and that's the word we like to use into technology that will drive down the overall operational expenditures, right? So, um, with the proper technology, you're going to have more efficient and effective workflows and employees to really drive that efficiency. And that's where it is. So it's really about budget planning, right? It's about the IT strategic plan to ensure that you're not really having these roller coaster ride IT costs, right? You're not, firefighting, and so be more preventative, right? Just as a doctor wants to have preventative medicine, for a healthier, client and the client's pet. It's trying to take that preventative approach, and knowing that clinics and hospitals don't have an unlimited budget. We know that we're a small biz too as well, right? So we know that you don't have an unlimited budget, but the planning is important to plan and budget for that. And we know things come up, and if they do, like we have one that has a cracked foundation and they just can't afford to put that in right now on a few investments. There's a few key ones that we have to make sure we go forward with, but we understand that this other project's going to have to be tabled for a while. We're going to hold it together until we get through this little rough patch. But it is truly an investment that continually has to be looked at from a strategic point of view.
Can you go through some of the other benefits other than operational efficiency?
From other benefits from operational efficiency, it's just protection, right? So again, it's about assuring that clinic is going to stay up and functional, right? So um, it's like electricity. You come in and to the office and you turn on the lights and you expect the lights to work, right? You're not sitting there trying to turn the lights on, and all of a sudden the lights aren't working today. Now we're going to troubleshoot this, and we're trying to figure this out, and so we want it as that it's taking IT to that light switch mentality, of where we want to flip the switch. We want to ensure that it's functional, and we're without it, they're just moving around in the dark at that point.
There's a few of these different benefits that are key too. Of course, you mentioned like the efficiency, that uptime, that ability to keep things running. Those things have a downstream effect on a few other benefits, right? Brand, the ability for the client to say, I'm having a successful visit with my veterinarian and I want to come back. Staff morale. It's really hard to acquire talent right now. And there are a lot of people that are unfortunately leaving the industry because of burnout, because of just a lot of the different things that are happening. And there's a lot of solutions that are on the horizon to fix these things. But right now, one of the things you can do is make that workplace fun, easy place to be. No one likes to go into work each day and the first thing they think is, oh my goodness, is this printer going to work today? They want to go in and say, oh my goodness, I can't wait to provide great healthcare to these dogs and cats. That's what they want to do. They don't want to fight everything else. So both of those things there also impact overall profitability, because when you're working at your maximum efficiency, you're filling your appointment books, you're not having to spend a bunch of time training and acquiring new staff, and your clients are actually following through with compliance, showing up for those appointments that you want them to come to. That's what makes that downstream profitability important. All of these things are interwoven, and it all starts with that one small spark of technology and efficiency. It can create that huge fire of, well, how am I going to pay my staff, or how am I going to keep the doors open?
Yeah. That is a huge punch of value. And what I want our audience